Panic is growing amongst the average American, both rich and poor, interestingly enough, about the economy, different situations, different levels of risk, of course. But if you are in a situation where you either feel like your wallet is getting thinner or that it's going to, or you're worried and you're starting to adjust spending habits, you are very much not alone. This is what is happening in the economy of the United States today. We are not in a recession. Recessions have specific definitions. We're not even close to reaching that yet because it requires GDP numbers, and we don't even have GDP numbers from Q4 yet, or do we? We're not going to have Q1 numbers. No, I think Q4 GDP comes out soon. We're not going to have Q1 numbers for some time. So we are not in a recession, but there is a decline in consumer confidence. Consumer spending has collapsed across all income levels. And Donald Trump is not even denying that his policies might tank the economy. He says it'll be for the greater good. His advisors say it will be only a transition. Peter Navarro said it's sometimes the pain you have to endure to go from failing Bidenomics to successful Trumpnomics or Trumponomics or whatever. So let's look at what we know, what's true, and what is sort of like a maybe. It is true that Americans are cutting back on everything. Americans are being more careful on groceries, gas, and fast food. Wealthier individuals are being careful with luxury goods because people either don't have the money or are worried that they soon will not. We saw consumer spending drop by the largest single month margin between January and February. Big box retailers, Walmart, Costco, Target, have seen customers tighten spending, average ticket values, and different metrics that they track. Fast food sales are down, much to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s chagrin. Luxury spending also down almost 10% in February alone. And it's not about boo-hoo, people can't get their Rolex watches. It's that 10% is a significant chunk to see a decline in a single month. And again, this is affecting people across income ranges. Everybody's pulling back. And it's not about, oh, we feel bad for the people who might only be able to afford one yacht instead of two. No, it's simply when spending goes down at the broadest economic level, you lose demand side stimulus. The people who work at the companies at which less money is being spent now have jobs that they themselves have to worry about. And it does trickle down. You know, the tax cuts for the rich don't seem to trickle down. When spending declines, that does trickle down. We then look at tariffs. Trump's trade war is back in full force. Businesses are warning things are going to start costing more. We are seeing some early indicators of stalling wages. Low-income workers had that temporary boost after COVID, but earnings have now fallen behind the rich again in terms of change to wages. Savings is starting to dry up. Bank balances are shrinking. Debt is climbing to pre-pandemic levels and beyond. And as we've talked about, we already talked about Delta, already seeing JetBlue and American Airlines seeing fewer people booking flights in a forward-looking manner, which means people expect at some point in the future to be in a tougher economic situation. And then, of course, the big one, Trump has now been asked multiple times, are you ruling out a recession? And he doesn't rule it out. He says, I don't know that it's something I like to predict, even though he did when Biden was running. You're going to have a recession. Using different words, kind of like figuring out semantic arguments. And then he's out there bragging about the low egg prices. Now, you all know me, okay? Egg futures are down, and that is great to see. It is objectively a good thing because it was becoming a real problem in terms of what it suggested about broader grocery prices and inflation. But consumers aren't just being cautious because of egg prices. Consumers are worried they are going to run out of money. So when Donald Trump tells you, we're going to win on everything eventually, you might just need to suffer a little bit, but it'll be patriotic and it's going to be really great. Who really is winning? It is not American consumers. We already are seeing, if you put the picture together, increased debt, fewer flight bookings, because people tend to book months in advance. Some people book a trip a year almost in advance. I think you can't book flights more than 330 days in advance, but people sometimes will book 10 months in advance. Some people will book 2 days before. On average, I think it's like between 2 to 3 months early that people book flights. When you stop booking flights, which on average are for 2 to 3 months from now, it is a sort of futures market in that it is people acting today based on what they expect there to be in the future. When Trump announces a tariff and the stock market goes down, it's not because the tariff had that effect today. It's because it's a futures market about what the tariffs are expected to do. And similarly, when people say, I am not going to take the trip 3 months from now that I wanted to take, it is a futures market of the sort that people are saying, based on where I think I will be economically in 3 months, I'm not going to book the trip right now. So the winners are the people that always are the winners. It's the billionaire robber baron types who get to come in and buy assets cheaply, sometimes privatize stuff, get in early, get in low, and then benefit if and when things ultimately do recover. And we don't know if that will be because of a 180 that Trump does on tariffs or whatever the case may be. But the numbers aren't good. And there are people calling in tears about it. That's what I want to talk about next. The David Pakman Show's finances have gotten hacked before. I've talked about it on the show. The hacker stole a bunch of money. It was not a good feeling. I worry a lot less now that I use Aura. Our sponsor, Aura, gives me peace of mind by providing some critical layers of security. They continuously monitor the dark web and let me know if information's been exposed, logins, social security numbers, etc. They tell me quickly if anybody tries to use that information to access credit or bank accounts. And Aura also gives me up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. And Aura also helps me stay safe from getting hacked in the first place with their award-winning anti-malware software, which I can use on all of my devices. And Aura has parental controls for kids' devices to restrict apps or manage screen time, set focus time. A lot of these things all packaged together in a super easy to use format. Try Aura free for 2 weeks at aura.com/Pakman. It only takes a few seconds using the free trial to see if your usernames and passwords are already on the dark web. The link is in the description.